This is Frogger for the Xbox Live Arcade on Xbox 360. And Frogger is the perfect quintessential arcade game because it has every element that makes an arcade game good all in one game. For starters, it has unique, simple, and addictive gameplay that's easy to pick up but difficult to master. Perfect for standing at the arcade machine inserting quarters like there's no tomorrow, as this was originally an arcade title. It has a somewhat implausible plot of a frog trying to cross a busy highway and then cross a river to get to one of the 5 slots on top of the screen. That's the plot, I think. And on top of that, it has a cute, cuddly frog mascot that they can then market into things like t-shirts, breakfast cereals, and 80s cartoon shows. And to be honest with you, I like Frogger a lot. My love affair with Frogger began with Frogger on the Atari 2600. And Frogger has been ported onto pretty much every video game console known to man since its release in the arcades in the early 1980s. In fact, I think they even made a sequel for the Atari 5200, which I sadly never played. Going to have to get around to that one of these days. Frogger on the Xbox Live is the closest thing to Frogger in the arcade that you'll get without actually going to the arcade. It only costs a few dollars. It looks very similar, if not identical, to the arcade version. It even has the cheesy music. And you can also earn achievement points. In fact, I think I actually earned one while playing for this review. In the original Classic Game Room series, we reviewed Frogger for the Atari 2600 and made several brilliant observations. For one thing, the current in this river flows left in some directions and right in the other. And that's a fairly strong current, sweeping logs and alligators and turtles with it. After playing Frogger recently, I've come up with several other issues with this game that make it less realistic. First of all, let's look at the size of Frogger. That's the biggest frog I've ever seen. It's the size of a car. And what's truly amazing about this game is that, yes, it suspends disbelief and you're not really concerned about why is the frog trying to cross the road in the river, but the programmers completely failed to realize that if a frog the size of an SUV hopped in front of your car, you'd probably slam on the brakes or at least swerve out of the way. The people driving on this highway don't seem to be fazed in the least bit that there's a gigantic 2-ton frog hopping in front of their vehicle. And that's possibly because this highway makes absolutely no sense. What highway is this screwed up where traffic is heading in opposite directions right next to each other in alternating lanes? That's a traffic pattern worthy of the New Jersey Turnpike if I've ever seen one. Except that there aren't toll booths every 25 feet that Frogger then has to stop and pay for. If you can look past those few flaws, and the fact that Frogger is a gigantic, mutated frog on the same scale as Godzilla or Mothra, then you'll love Frogger if you've never played it before. We don't ask the question, why does the frog need to cross the road and the river? We assume that somebody's holding a gun to the back of his head and he's doing what he's told. You face the challenge of avoiding traffic, dodging obstacles like the snake, and riding the logs and turtles to strategically cross the river to hop into one of the 5 slots on top of the screen. If I were to make a sequel to Frogger, since he's obviously a mutated frog, I would give him fire-breathing capabilities so that he could then clear a path through the traffic and then turn the river into blood, sprout wings, and fly off.